Hey everyone, welcome to Keller Acres. Today we're going to make some homemade Nutella. Nutella is so good and so not good for you. So this homemade recipe actually will be much better for you than the store-bought kind. It's not going to taste identical, but it still tastes really good. All right, so we're going to start with our hazelnuts. I've got 2 cups of roasted hazelnuts here. So what you're going to want to do is roast these in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes at 350. Do make sure you pay attention because I have burnt them before and burnt hazelnuts do not taste good. So make sure you watch them. I purchased my hazelnuts on Amazon. They were already skinless, so that's easier. Otherwise you are supposed to remove the skins if your hazelnuts have that on there. Otherwise, like I said, just roast them in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes at 350. You can also make a smaller batch. I started out by using just 1 cup of nuts. So this is actually gonna be my first time using 2 cups. I wanted to try to make a little more because 1 cup doesn't make very much. So you also need a blender or a food processor. I'm gonna be using the Ninja blender. So once you get those nuts roasted, and roasting them brings out the oils. This is gonna make it easier to blend or process. So we're gonna pour those into our blender. All right. I have to warn you, there is a lot of blending in this recipe. So we're going to be blending for a long time. You want to blend until it starts to get creamy. It's probably going to take anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes. So we're also going to want to scrape down the sides to make sure your blender doesn't overheat. So you're going to want to, let it go for a couple of minutes, take a break, scrape down the sides, blend some more. So let's get started. Take a break. Woo, there's smoke coming out of my blender. Take a break and scrape down the sides. Let that cool off a little bit. Use your spatula. All right, more blending. Taking another break. It's been about 4 minutes for me. Not quite. This is already blending up really nicely. Still some powderiness in there, but it's some of it's starting to get really nice and creamy. That's why we got to keep stirring it so that it all can get creamy. On it again. Definitely becoming nice and liquidy now, if you can see that. That's what you want. Gonna blend just a little bit more and then we'll be adding in some powdered sugar and cocoa. Okay, I'm ready to add in my powdered sugar and my cocoa. Mine's nice and liquidy now. We're going to be using a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. You can use coconut sugar, but the powdered sugar is what's supposed to give it a smoother texture versus I have used coconut sugar in another one and it was a little more grainy. So we're gonna use the powdered sugar for this. Put in 1/2 cup of that, and then we're gonna be using 4 tablespoons of cocoa. Okay, get our lid back on. We are back to blending. Gonna scrape down the sides. So my total blend time before I added in the sugar and the cocoa was 7 minutes, which included taking breaks to scrape it down. So yours will probably be somewhat close to that. A food processor might work faster. I don't have one, so I don't know, but. All right, that all scraped down good, and then back to blending. Just gonna scrape down again. Okay, gonna let that blend a little more. While this is blending, I'm going to warm up a 1/3 cup of dark chocolate chips, and those are gonna go in. And then also we'll be adding in some avocado oil in a minute, some vanilla, and some salt. You can also use coconut oil if you'd rather, but I'm gonna be using avocado oil. So all right, back to blending. I'm actually going to give this a little taste before I add in my oil. Nice and liquidy. Very good. Okay, actually before I add in my oil, I'm going to add in my melted dark chocolate chips. You can use semi-sweet, milk chocolate, whatever you like. Add that in. Okay, then we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of avocado oil. A little bit of vanilla and a pinch of salt. Then we're back to blending. Gonna scrape down sides again. Like I said, it's just a lot of blending in this recipe. We're almost done though. Gonna taste a little bit of that off the spatula here in a minute. But back to blending for a minute. All right, we're all finished. The lid off. Get some of this scraped off my blade. All right, if you have a glass jar of some sort, that's probably ideal. I think I have more than what's gonna fit in my little glass container, so I might end up putting it into 2 different containers, but I don't have any lids for my smaller glass jars. All right, let's pour this in. Try to position this so you can see it. Really good. Let's see. I have a little more in there still, so I'm gonna have to get another little container. Really, really good. You can spread this on bread, crackers, dip apples in it. They do recommend that you store this in the refrigerator. It'll keep longer. So in the refrigerator, it will harden a little bit. So you will have to soften it when you take it out, or just let it sit out on the counter for a little bit before you use it to soften it again. But if you love Nutella, give this recipe a try. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you like our videos.